Carlos Sainz has had enough. The Williams driver isn't staying quiet anymore. He's calling out the FIA, demanding answers, and pushing for an urgent meeting to fix what he believes is a system that's losing its grip. His frustration exploded after Oscar Piastri's controversial penalty at the Brazilian Grand Prix. But this wasn't just about one decision. It was the final straw in a season filled with calls that left drivers, teams, and fans wondering what the rules really are anymore. So what's happening with Formula One stewarding this year? Why is Sainz so angry? And what does it mean for the future of the sport? It all came to a head in Brazil. Into turn one, 3 cars charged side by side: Oscar Piastri, Andrea Kimi Antonelli, and Charles Leclerc. Tight, aggressive, the kind of racing fans live for. Then, in a split second, it went wrong. Piastri locked up under braking. There was contact with Antonelli. Both drivers paid the price. The stewards reviewed the footage and handed Piastri a 10-second time penalty. Their explanation followed the rulebook. Piastri wasn't ahead at the apex. He locked up, contact followed. By the guidelines, that's a penalty. Simple, on paper. But racing isn't always that simple. After the race, Antonelli himself admitted he may have closed the corner slightly. He even suggested it could have been a racing incident. 3 cars fighting for one piece of track. No clear villain, just the chaos of competition. When Sainz was asked about it, he didn't hesitate. For me, the fact that Oscar got a penalty there in Brazil is unacceptable, honestly, for the category we are in, the pinnacle of motorsport. Pressed for details, Sainz refused to spell it out. You all saw what happened. Anyone who has raced knows that's not Oscar's fault. He could have done nothing to avoid it. That's not just criticism. That's a veteran driver of over a decade saying the system doesn't understand racing. And Brazil wasn't an isolated case. Go back to Zandvoort. Sainz made contact with Liam Lawson. He was given a penalty. Williams challenged it. The stewards reviewed new evidence and overturned their own decision. Same officials, same incident, 2 completely different conclusions. 1 week later at Monza, Sainz collided with Ollie Behrman. This time, Behrman received the penalty. Sainz didn't agree with that either. I didn't understand why Ollie got a penalty. He didn't deserve that. Then came Austin, another collision, this time with Antonelli. Another 10-second penalty for Sainz. Confusion again. By the time Brazil arrived, the frustration had built up. It's not one incident, Sainz said. There have been multiple this year that are far, far from where the sport should be. And he's not alone. At the Mexican Grand Prix, 5 cars cut through turn 1 at the start. Some gave positions back, some didn't. No penalties were issued. Max Verstappen was among those who cut the corner and was accused of making little effort to stay on track. Commentator Martin Brundle called it silly driving and suggested it deserved a strong penalty. Nothing came. Then there was Singapore. Hamilton was nursing a failing brake system in the closing laps. His car was unstable. He ran wide multiple times just trying to keep it on the track and bring it home safely. Ferrari provided telemetry and onboard footage. The brake failure was real. The stewards acknowledged it in their statement. And still, a 5-second penalty for leaving the track without a justifiable reason. If the FIA believed the car had a safety issue, they could have shown the black and orange flag, forcing him to pit immediately. They didn't. They let him continue, then penalized him afterward. That's the pattern drivers are struggling to accept. The rules appear to shift race to race, steward to steward, moment to moment. One issue Sainz highlights is how stewards interpret lockups. He said, whenever there's a lockup, it's immediately seen as being out of control. But a lockup doesn't always mean you're out of control. Drivers can lock a wheel and still make the apex. It's part of racing at the limit. Sainz locked up in Austin, reacting to a move. Piastri locked up in Brazil, reacting as well. It's not like we were completely out of control and going to cause a massive accident, he explained. At the heart of it, this isn't about one penalty. It's about consistency, about understanding the difference between reckless driving and hard racing. So, what's the solution? Even Sainz admits he doesn't have all the answers, but what he does know is this. If Formula One is the pinnacle of motorsport, then its rule enforcement needs to reflect it. Clear, consistent, fair. Because when the drivers stop understanding the rules, the sport itself starts to lose direction. At the heart of it, there are two very different ways to read the rule book. One approach is strict, black and white. If the guidelines say a driver must be ahead at the apex, then that's it. No debate, no exceptions. On paper, that creates consistency. Every case measured against the same line. But racing doesn't always fit neatly inside a line on a page, and when rules are applied without context, the outcome can feel disconnected from what actually happened on track. The second approach sees those same rules as exactly what they're called, guidelines. In this view, stewards have room to judge the full picture. Was it simply hard racing? Did the driver have another realistic option? Was there intent, or just the chaos of wheel-to-wheel combat? This method allows for common sense, but it also opens the door to criticism because once discretion enters the conversation, so does inconsistency. Carlos Sainz understands both sides. It's difficult to judge because it could go both ways, he admitted. You could criticize how the guidelines are written. We ask the stewards to apply them firmly, and they're just doing their job. Or are the guidelines meant to be guidelines and not black and white? I'm not sure what the solution is. I think it needs to be discussed among all of us. He doesn't claim to have the perfect answer, but he is certain about one thing. After what I saw in Brazil, something's not quite working. If that's a 10-second penalty for a guy who had no fault in what he did, then something needs to change. And now, the drivers are taking action.